Oh yeah! Welcome to another Super Squad D. Was that an extra explosion? Nope. Okay. All right. This isn't good. We can't even do the intro. No. Okay. There's another one. We can't. This is bad. This is bad. We need to stop this. Whatever was going on here is wrong. This is just a bunch of explosions over and over again. We can't even show you anything that's happening here. This is absolutely the worst intro that I have ever seen in my life. I'm so sorry.
All right, guys. What's up, everybody?
Pam, 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 pam.
We are back after a month hiatus from doing these live shows. And that over there, of course, is the main man himself, the Bears quarterback, Andy Dalton.
And of course, that over there is famed voice actor Billy West.
And together, we are Super Squad D, where the D stands for...
Don't know where I put my phone, and I've been walking around looking for it for the last 10 minutes.
This is a sponsored stream, and the stream is sponsored by Joseph not being able to find his phone.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly it. Exactly it. But hey, we're trying out a few new things on the technical end. Going through. Hopefully, we'll make the audio a little bit better than it might have been on some other. Oh no. Okay, hold up.
Wait a second. First all the explosions, and now this. What is happening?
Oh, hold on. Look at that.
What? How am I inside of you?
There's yeah.
That doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
That can't be right.
Is it okay if I do the whole show with a chroma key version of Tyler's face right now?
I think it sounds awesome.
I've got to. I have to lower the chroma key. I have to lower that.
Shout out to some people in the chat already. We got Duck Collector, who is here 9 minutes early.
Saying what needs to be said.
Saying absolutely what needs to be said. We got M. Scotter83 in the chat. What's up, M. Scotter?
Man who loves Clue more than anything else on this planet, M. Scotter.
Can that be true? But his love for us is so high. I don't understand. Does he love Clue more than us?
Believe me when I say he does not actually like us.
I'm going to try these Pop Rocks here. I just want to see what will happen if I Pop Rocks and Dr. Pepper. And I felt like being on stream would be the best time to do it. Why don't you tell them what kind of a show we got tonight, Joseph?
Well, I'd love to tell them what kind of a show we've got tonight, Joseph. We have the continuation of what we've been doing on our live streams so far this year. So if you've joined us on some of our live shows in the calendar year 2021, you got that pop going? Hold on. It honestly sounds like a crackling fire.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like.
Good stuff.
We're continuing what we've been doing with the 2021. And what we've been doing is going through a rewatch of all of the superhero films that have come out as of late. As of late being in any time, really just in any time at all.
We started with DC.
Yep. So we started with DC. Looks like I've now...
Oh, gosh. That... Mitt Romney? I can't tell who that is.
Must be. We started with the DC movies. We've moved on through some of the Marvels, and we are in Marvel Phase 2, starting Marvel Phase 2 tonight. And what we've been doing is giving a completely subjective enjoyment rating. Pure enjoyment. What do we mean by an enjoyment rating, Tyler?
Well, what we mean is it's a score that's based off of how much we actually enjoyed it. So, in general, that's what enjoyment rating has meant to me.
So, okay, thank you. What we mean is that we're not trying to rate whether it was a good or bad movie. We're just trying to rate whether we think it is, like, whether we just had fun watching it or not. You know, it's an entirely subjective.
We're starting off with Snyder Cut, right?
Yes, we're starting it off. It hadn't come out yet, but we're going to talk about how much we probably have already enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's right. Because Snyder Cut really, I feel like, is going to fit in pretty well with the MCU Phase 2, honestly.
Yeah I think so too. I think so too. There we go. Now I've got it going.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. What's happening?
I'm just gonna do the whole show like this. I hope
I think
everyone's
you
cool with it.
should. In fact, I'd like it if you got a shirt of my face made like that. It's that big. It's just my face.
I like that the sunglasses are on my shoulders. I think that's really what's making it work.
That's the nice finishing touch. Yeah, boy.
All right.
What movies did we do in the last MCU breakdown? We did all the way through Avengers, correct?
Yeah, let me pull up the scores that we've got because I do have the spreadsheet open of all that. We have done all of Phase 1 of the MCU, which involves Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America: First Avenger, the Avengers. There's two little slight caveats here. All right, one of them being that we did not get around to reviewing or talking about giving our subjective review of The Incredible Hulk because I had forgotten that it was a part of the MCU.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was on me. So I have rewatched it, and I'm ready to give my review on that tonight if we want to. I also went back to the DC, and I feel like I need to just kind of let people know this, but I went back to the DCEU, and I adjusted one rating.
Ooh, you had some time to think it over, mull it over in the little brain, decide to change up something. I see what you did there.
Yeah, so my rating system, I have very clear-cut meanings to the numbers. So, like...
Unlike my rating system, which means absolutely nothing.
I've gone where it's like, if it's 1 or 2, it's bad.
Yeah.
3 or 4, it's not great, but it doesn't like flat out like, oh, this is terrible. 5, 6 are like mediocre. 7, 8 pretty good. 9 and 10 is like, oh, I love this movie, you know. And I felt like it was unjust of me. Just know how my rating system goes. I had Suicide Squad at a 3, but it really was not a 3 to me. It was a 2. I didn't enjoy it at all, and so I needed to drop it down from a 3 to a 2. I know everyone's very upset at me for doing that.
What you're telling me is, on our YouTube channel, in which we have like 100 views,
yeah,
it deeply affected you so much that you gave Suicide Squad a 3, that you lay awake at night and had to change it to a 2 just because you couldn't live with yourself knowing that you gave Suicide Squad a 3 when it deserved a 2.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was so troublesome. So troublesome.
Like,
No, like if I can't admit that I can't watch any other movies and give another movie a 2 because someone's gonna go, so wait, you like Suicide Squad more than you liked that one? And I'd be like, no, I didn't. Oh, I really didn't. And so yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. It was a totally asinine thing for me to get upset. I realize that now. Thank you.
This is the greatest moment of my life right now. This is like when you don't get all your change back or somewhere and you're like, I have a little extra change. What do I do? Should I tell somebody? Should I just live with it? Yeah, that analogy made sense. Don't worry. Just accept it. It was a good one.
It was strong. It was strong.
So, what film are we starting with tonight?
Well, I feel like we need to go back to the Incredible Hulk so we can give a final average enjoyment score on Marvel Phase 1.
Okay. So what do I think The Incredible Hulk was rated on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, let me pull that up because that is the one I had forgotten.
Because that movie came out the same summer Iron Man did. So Iron Man came out and then The Incredible Hulk came out.
Yep.
That was 2008. I'm going to say comic book movies had a little bit better reception then. Like the bar was a little lower.
Okay.
For how good the movie was. And by the way, let us know in the chat if you're here and you want to chime in on what you think the Rotten Tomato score was going to be for these films.
Because this has become one of my favorite parts of these videos is you trying to guess the Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're weirdly accurate.
Yeah, it's really weird. I'm going to say that audience looked at this movie and they were like, it's Ed Norton. Mm-hmm. He's a very prolific actor. Mm-hmm. And a lot of good stuff. Mm-hmm. But it is not a great film.
Right.
So we're going to give it my gut says 72, but I'm going to push it to 77. I'm going to say the audience reception was 77 and that it was a little bit better received because of when the film came out before the MCU kind of raised the bar of quality.
Okay. All right, so you're going to go 77.
I'm going to go 77.
All right, well, let's go ahead and pull it up. You're off by 10% on this one.
Oh, wow.
For the thermometer.
Was what I was thinking.
Yep.
I should have gone with my gut. My gut was 72. I should have gone with it. But
now, I do like that if you look down here, it's pretty subtle. But if you look down in this area over here, you'll notice that the Ang Lee Hulk has a 29%.
Wow, that's rough.
From the audience review. Yep. So there you go. So yeah, The Incredible Hulk. I had not seen it since theater, so I needed to rewatch it before we got around to it. And I say, and so yeah, 67%, 70% is what Rotten Tomatoes got it. What would you give it if you were to give it a quick rating, Tyler?
Honestly, I enjoyed it. What's up, that stoner B?
Whoop!
I enjoyed this film at the time it came out more than I do now.
Okay.
So I'm going to say at the time it came out, I would have given it probably a 7 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to say about a 6.5 out of 10. And it's largely just because it's Liv Tyler and Edward Norton. Like, they carried the film for me.
Yeah.
I did feel like on second viewing, what I felt in the first viewing was this is just like a major testosterone fest. Like, I was like, where's the Breaking Benjamin soundtrack to just the Hulk and Abomination just beating the crap out of each other, screaming with just massive amounts of testosterone? And that raised the bar for me. I'll be honest. I was kind of into that. But the plot overall left a little bit to be desired. Also, now we've got a little bit of distance from the film, and we've seen Mark Ruffalo's Hulk.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but I kind of like Edward Norton's Hulk version better.
Ooh. We have all of our little logos queued up here, and I feel like that should give an honorary Big Bold Opinion. It's not my Big Bold Opinion.
But it was a Big Bold Opinion.
But it was a Big Bold Opinion.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what so you feel like you might actually like Ed Norton as the Hulk or as like Banner?
As Banner. I mean, the Hulk is, CGI, whatever. But
right, yeah, exactly.
As Banner, for sure. What about you? What
was your actual score?
So my score was 6.5 is what I'm giving it right now.
Okay. Cool. All right. And shout us out in the comments. Give us your scores as well. Scott's chiming in by giving it a 2, which according to my scale is a pretty bad, really bad rating.
I read that comment, and I thought he was saying he would give The Incredible Hulk 2 like a go only if it has Liv Tyler. Like, I was greenlighting The Incredible Hulk 2 because he loved Liv Tyler so much. That's how I read that.
Maybe so. The Collector says that he prefers Ed as well. Yeah, I mean, I like Ed Norton. There's no, like, you can't, dislike, really, Ed Norton and his way of portraying Banner in this, especially because as the movies have gone on, I feel like Mark Ruffalo's, or the writing from Mark Ruffalo Banner has not been good.
It really hasn't. His character's a mess. It
started well, and then it went for that. Speaking of a mess, I felt like The Incredible Hulk turned into a mess. Of a movie. What got me is that I thought the movie started super well. Like, there's this entire thing about him in Brazil, and he's trying to like do yoga and stay calm, and he's working at a bottling plant, and they come after him and all that. All of that, if they continued that plot line exactly, would have been better than where it ended. Because by the time it ended, it felt like such a discombobulated mess that I could not end up really enjoying it. And so I could not give it a mediocre rating of 5. I had to drop it down to a 4 because I felt like they had... Are you gnawing your own arm off?
No, fine, don't worry about it.
All right, fair enough. So I give it a 4 because I can't give it a mediocre. I felt like the ending of it ruined so much that the beginning of it was doing pretty well, which I see the Collector's kind of saying that as well. And Scott does point out that he did openly try to give me the DVD copy that he owns to try to get rid of this movie.
Wow. So, I mean, that's fair.
Let me put it this way.
Maybe he just gave it to you because he liked it so much. He wanted a Liv Tyler Hulk 2 sequel. I don't know.
Right, yeah. I will say this: we rented, just like renting, streaming it off of something, and for whatever reason, the streaming service we got. I forget what we rented it on. The audio got off, and by the end of it, I mean, it literally was like 3 seconds off, where someone would talk, and then the sound would come out of their mouths, and it was just, it was so bad. And even that, I felt like didn't detract from the end of the movie, because by then it was just chaos. Like, the Hulk literally defeats Abomination. Abomination is proving to be indestructible, and the Hulk defeats him, and Liv Tyler's like, no, don't kill him. And the Hulk goes, all right, and leaves. And that's it. Like, Abomination's just sitting there, and everyone's like, yeah, this is fine now. Apparently we trust Abomination to not kill all of us.
Don't you wonder, like, where was Abomination for the last 10 years in the MCU? Like, at some point, don't you think he could have been used? Like, I mean, I get it that he was a villain, but also, like, when the Chitauri is fighting, I'm pretty sure he would have been out there and, like, crushing Chitauri. Like, he doesn't want Earth to die. He's just not a good person.
And he loved, like, he was only in it because he wanted a good fight. Chitauri's absolutely would have been a good fight. So, all right, just so you know, Tyler,
Kevin Feige.
Seriously, Kevin, not Kevin Saison. It's good that he's here.
Kevin Saison is awesome.
Tyler, your average Phase 1 score is 8.25. Your lowest score being what you just gave to the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
My average score is 6.3 repeating.
Of course.
So there you go.
Here's the question.
All right.
In Phase 2, do you think your Phase 2 score is going to be on average higher or lower?
Oh, that's a good one.
Because now we're coming into a point where you have expectations, right? For the MCU.
Right.
To grow and to change in a certain way and build beyond that initial film lineup.
Yeah.
I find for myself, there's been a lot of movies, especially comic book movies, that I leave going, I can't wait for the sequel. Like, one of them was Fantastic Four, because I was like, man, they spent so much time like setting up the Fantastic Four and giving them powers. I bet you the sequel is going to be awesome. Spoiler alert, it wasn't.
For me, it was Fantastic Mr. Fox. Very similar movies.
Extremely similar, dude. That Fox was crazy.
Yep.
What did you say?
So,
Ring, ding, ding, ding.
ring. I'm glad we're both. We're gonna shut it down.
Yeah,
let's just shut it down.
Good
Shut
job.
it down. You know, thanks for watching. We're done. I guess I don't know.
Went downhill once I started eating my jewelry.
So okay. Where do I think it'll go? See, this is tricky because I felt like going into it there were going to be more Phase 2, that it was going to be similar to the DC movies, where it's like there's more Phase 2 movies that I really don't like, but more Phase 2 movies that I really did like. So I'm willing to bet that my average score might drop a little bit, just because I feel like there's going to be some real high ones and some real low ones. And in Phase 1, it was generally pretty high. I did have 2 lower scores for Incredible Hulk and Thor, but everything else was at least over a 5. So
I think my Phase 2 scores are going to be lower. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be lower. What say you, chat? What do you think?
Yeah. Shout us out.
Higher or lower in Phase 2? What do you think?
So, all right, we're going to jump over to Iron Man 3 to start things off then. A movie that I had tried to block out of my memory when it came out. Because, as you mentioned, this is about the time that we started to have expectations.
Yeah.
And so once that movie was done, I was like, I expect to never have to talk about this movie again. And yet, here we are.
What?
Tyler, you want to give a quick guess on Rotten Tomatoes rating before we expose it on the screen?
Yeah. I'm going to say Iron Man 2 got a 70% Rotten Tomatoes score and a 72% user review.
Okay. All right. Let's see what we got, and let's see if I remember the key command to change tabs. No, this is the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
But this is Iron Man 3. 79 and 78.
Iron Man 3, but what about Iron Man 2?
I don't know what Iron Man 2 got. That we did that 1 weeks ago.
Did we?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I thought we were doing Iron Man 2 right now. Oh, God, it's so embarrassing. Iron Man 3 started Phase 2.
Yeah.
Wow. This was very confusing to me. But you know what? I don't think I would have changed my guesses. I'm very surprised that Iron Man 3 was rated that high.
Me too. Me too.
Everyone hates this film.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there it is. 79-78. Almost even. You almost never see whoops. You
Omnibudy's here, and he wants you to know that he's got something to do. It's for dinner. Everybody subscribe to his channel.
Hey, Omnibuddy, before you go, what do you think of my shirt? Do you like my shirt that I'm wearing? Do you like my shirt, Omnibuddy? Let me know in the comments if you like my shirt.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant cinematography right there.
Yeah, Scott, that's what I've been trying to figure out. Rotten Tomatoes did this for one of the Phase 1 movies as well, where it was like, for no reason.
Nobody liked Iron Man 3, so we'll just show them Guardians of the Galaxy trailer. It's fine.
Just forget it. It's fine. Just forget it.
Totally
Yeah, this
fine.
is higher than I would have thought Iron Man 3 got. But it's weird that the critics and the audience both gave it almost essentially the exact same rating. So
this is an interesting moment of your shirt needs to be tighter. Wow, that's a shirt. This is an interesting moment, I feel, of comic book fans having a very different reaction than the general public. This is one of the few films where I've seen that happen, where I feel like a lot of comic book fans were very unhappy with Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Because they did not like the Mandarin twist. Which I get not liking that. I was not as attached to the character of Iron Man. I've never been a huge Iron Man comic book fan. I just like Tony Stink. But if they had done this with Spider-Man, if they'd been like, hey, it's the Green Goblin. Just kidding. It's actually
Guy Pearce all along.
Guy Pearce all along. And he's an actor. What a joke. I'd have been super ticked. So like, I got where they came from. I just didn't have that experience. But it seems like most comic book fans who at least really like Iron Man in the comics did not like the movie. So that's interesting. I wonder if that's what pulled the score down because as we see, most MCU films get rated higher. It's a double entendre.
This was discovered by accident when we were doing a little bit of production testing earlier in the day. After Tyler had left, like we tested something, we're like, oh, this is good. And Tyler left, and I was like, oh, they have a green screen function? Didn't even think about my shirt. That happened, and I went, well, I know what I'm doing tonight.
I know what's going on in the stream tonight. Everybody else is going to get crazy over here. We're going to get crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's... no, you're absolutely right. Like, it would make total sense to me that Iron Man comic fans, not comic sans, Iron Man comic stands would have gotten real ticked at that twist for sure. That makes sense to me.
Film? Did it bother you that? All right, let me ask you this.
Okay.
I think the most two controversial parts of this film. Sorry, I've got like a whole little like nun going here with a ruler. Like
I know, man.
Bring back some childhood memories for you. Naughty Craven, you're naughty Craven.
Okay.
So, do you think that? Did it bother you? One, that he spent so much time out of the suit. Two, that the Mandarin twist happened. Did either one of those things really bother you? Because those, I think, were really the primary concerns from a lot of people that I hear, at least. A lot of complaints.
Okay. Number one, no. It didn't bother me. I wouldn't have thought too much about it. But just because coming from someone that was not a comic...
Yeah, you're not an Iron Man stan.
Not an Iron stan. It was one of those things where it's like, you know, he's out of the suit a lot. Well, it's because at that point in time, they were having to pay Robert Downey Jr. big bucks. So he was going to get actual.
Be in the suit, like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like in the first film, he has like the full bodysuit on.
Yeah.
And by Endgame, he's got like one breastplate and an arm thing, and he's like green screen, just put in the rest CGI.
Just add it.
Just don't want to do it.
Yep. Number two, the twist does not bother me. What bothers me is that, and if any of you, for some reason, were planning on rewatching this soon and have forgotten this, I don't know, whatever. This is a spoiler, I guess. The spoiler being that they literally, in the first 5 minutes of the movie, show you who the bad guy actually is, and that it's Guy Pearce. Like, in the first 5 minutes, it opens with a monologue of Tony Stark going, they say you create your biggest enemies, or something like that. A line that no one ever says.
Yeah.
And he literally gives the backstory of how he created Guy Pearce's character into a villain. So by the time Guy Pearce shows up,
you're like, yep.
You're like, okay,
he's the villain.
There's no mystery in this movie. The Mandarin twist could have been the mystery. And then it's like, oh, so Guy Pearce is the real villain. But instead,
at the very least, you knew Guy Pearce was a part of it, right? Even if you didn't know that the Mandarin was not really the Mandarin,
the fact that
Guy Pearce was involved from the get-go.
The fact that they went out of their way to introduce him at the beginning, it was this whole monologue of we create our own adversaries or whatever Tony says, and it shows Guy Pearce
like Robert Downey Jr. Dude,
thank you.
Holy crap!
That was actually me trying to sound like Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin.
You sounded
we
just
create
like
our
Ben
own
Kingsley.
adversaries, Tony Stark, but like it just they gave it away.
Bridges.
Rewatch Iron Man 3. When's the last time you watched it? Rewatch Iron Man 3. Tell me what you think of Ben Kingsley doing that voice. Yeah, they give it all away. They give it away instantly, and that's what's troublesome about it, is that there's a lot of cool aspects to this movie that are ruined because they just give everything. Tony having major like PTSD because he flew through a wormhole.
Yeah.
And having to like deal with his brain being screwed up. That would have been a great plot point.
I was going to say, I kind of liked that plot point. That was my favorite part of the movie.
And they buried it.
Yeah.
Completely buried it.
That was my favorite part of the movie. I thought that was the most compelling and the most interesting direction to take a character who's known for being perfect and getting everything right and being a wonderkin. It was interesting to show him having that type of a flaw, his overconfidence compared to his inner anxiety and inner PTSD. I thought was a great direction. I didn't mind the Ben Kingsley twist.
No, I liked it.
In fact, just was ruined. The most offensive thing is that they went back later and made like a super secret post-credit scene that only like 10 people in the world saw, but they did like a short film where it's like the real Mandarin had him killed because he took the real Mandarin's name. And that I'm assuming that's going to actually come into play in Shang-Chi, but
that's what the rumors have been, at least.
Yeah, that he'll be in there. So it'll be interesting to see if Ben Kingsley makes an appearance in there. But overall, for me, the movie just, I don't know, it failed to deliver, but I still felt like I enjoyed it more than Iron Man 2.
Interesting. So what do you rate it then?
So I would honestly give it, I don't know, it's tough. I mean, I'd probably give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
I'd probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. And that's just because in this movie alone, it had some highs, some really good highs for me, but it also had some really low lows. And then some like middle of the road, mediocre stuff. Like I was disappointed what they did with Extremists. I was because I thought that would have been an amazing plot line for Iron Man. Have him actually go bad through like the Extremist virus and all that he created. And then I also would have liked to have seen something different with Pepper. It was just weird that they like gave her powers, but then they took them away like instantly after, and it was like, I don't know. I give it a 7.5 for now.
Right. Do you remember what you gave Iron Man to?
I'm gonna say I gave it about a 7.5.
You gave it a 7.5.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I just couldn't really decide if I liked it more or about the same. What's up, Jamie? Yeah, I agree. I also like Shane Black.
What else has he done? I'm going to Google him real quick. What else has he done?
You pull up and read his IMDb.
Oh, he did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Oh, love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
The Collector said he fell asleep in this one and one of the Avengers movies. I think that when a movie is when someone finds a movie boring, that's the biggest sin a movie can commit. And that's actually what I'm a little bit nervous about the Snyder Cut, even though I'm actually really excited about it. I'm a little nervous that it's like 4 freaking hours. I'm like, oh gosh, am I going to get bored or fall asleep?
Oh yeah, no question. No question you are. I got to give Iron Man 3, I wanted to give it like a just below mediocre, like a 4 rating. But I'm going to have to give it a 3 because the beginning of that movie makes me so mad.
Yeah,
because
maybe
it
if I
is
rewatch
such sloppy writing, because by the end of the movie you're like, okay, like, can we just get to the point in which Iron Man is having to deal with Guy Pearce, because we know he's the bad guy. You said it at the beginning. Don't give me this Mandarin stuff. We all know it's just a distraction to set up Guy Pearce as the bad guy. Just get to it already.
Which, I mean, what even was weirder about that is in the opening credits it shows Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. It shows Don Cheadle as War Machine, and then it says Guy Pearce, the bad guy. It's just right there.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know this.
It says Ben Kingsley as the actor that is hired to play the character of the Mandarin, comma, but is not actually the comic book character of the Mandarin.
Shane Black was in the original Predator, and that's good enough for him. I think anyone who's in the original Predator just gets an instant pass on anything they do in life. And just I'm inclined to give them that, Rich.
Yep.
I think that's fair.
That's why Iron Man 3 gets a 3 rating for me and not a 2 rating, because Shane Black was in the original Predator. So
that makes sense. You know what? The math checks out. I've checked it. It's out. The math checks out.
So now we get to step into the wild world. Again, hold on. Can we just revisit? So after that discussion, this movie got almost an 80% approval rating from both Rotten Tomatoes and
isn't that interesting?
Audience.
So what do you guys give it? I would love to know, for those who haven't shared their review of Iron Man 3, I'd love to know what your rating is.
Yeah, so far we mentioned the collector said he fell asleep. Scott gave it a 3, which is what I gave it as well. And Rich, once again, because this is the comment of the year already, he was in Predator, and that's good enough.
Did you give it a 3 because M. Scotter gave it a 3, or did M. Scotter give it a 3 because you gave it a 3? This is like chicken and egg type situation here.
That's a good question. It's a question that scholars have been debating for forever, and that I will refuse to give an answer to.
Craven, don't you be weaseling out of this one. I don't know. I don't know why the nun from your childhood had such a strong accent.
Me either.
Scottish accent, but she did. She definitely did.
Speaking of Scottish accents, let's jump over to the second movie in Phase 2, starring Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2, which, by the way, I loved on a second rewatch. And almost gave it a 9 rating because I liked it so much, but had to drop it to an 8 just because of a few things. Starring former Doctor Who actor
Christopher Ecclesian.
Yeah, Christopher Ecclesian, former G.I. Joe villain, Christopher Ecclesian.
He was in G.I. Joe?
You wouldn't know.
I know. That's why I asked.
Thor: The Dark World. This is one that is generally well-loved by everyone.
Everyone loves it. What's up, Hayden? You're here.
Hayden, the only thing you've missed is my new shirt. What do you think?
Oh, jeez. It's still happening. Marcelo gave it a 7. I'm right there with you, dude. One of the worst MCU movies, but a lot better than other stuff you could have watched. You know what? I want to amend what I said to this.
Okay.
This is what I said.
I got to go back and edit all of that now. That was like 15 minutes of content that I got to go back and edit.
Hey, man, it is what it is, you know? Can't understand a man until you live what he lived. Microphone to back.
Is this thing trying to green screen out my eyes?
It is.
Why is it being weird about my eyes?
It is. It's because you have green eyes. Okay, so next up we have Thor: The Dark World.
So they tell me.
And Thor: The Dark World, wow, let's maybe not be that bold of an opinion, but I got a thought.
Okay.
I think Thor: The Dark World, and let me...
because you've got such a strong opinion, I'm giving you the entire screen right now. Go.
Okay. Now, let me say, I love Natalie Portman.
Tyler, look, before you continue, what is the cable running across the floor behind you? What is that?
I love Natalie Portman.
I don't think you heard my question. I would like to have an answer to the question. What is the cable that's clearly running across your floor behind you?
Behind this right here is something that's plugged in. Now, I'd love to tell you what it is that's plugged in, but you know how Omar can't share new information that he gets straight from Marvel until they give him the green light. This is nothing like that. This is absolutely nothing like that. But I still can't tell you what's back there. Maybe at the end of the show, we'll see. Love Natalie Portman. And I love Chris Hemsworth. And I love the character of Thor. I do. Gosh darn it, I love the character of Thor. But I'll tell you this. I think this is the most boring movie in the entire MCU. Out of all 23 films. And I'm even including Captain Marvel. No, I take it back. Captain Marvel is more boring. This is the second most boring movie. This is the second most boring movie in the entire MCU. What do you guys think? Do you think this is the most boring or the second most boring movie? There's only two options. But if you had to vote right now, which would it be?
All right. So what do you think the Rotten Tomatoes score is? We'll get the webpage ready for the big reveal. If you tell me what you think the Rotten Tomatoes rating is on Thor: The Dark World.
Rotten Tomatoes is going to be bad on this one. I think it's going to be 65 and 69.
See, I think that the audience review has got to be lower than that.
You think so?
While that is a nice guess, I think that the audience review is going to have to be lower because I think the audience will bomb a movie they dislike more so than you will.
Yeah, that's probably true. I like Natalie Portman. What can I say?
It's all right. Let's find out. Oh, no.
Wow, there you go.
Oh, no.
Oh, snap. I said, oh my.
Let's go ahead and get this comment up here because it's very timely.
These scores are rigged.
Wow. So the audience gave it a 75.
Yeah.
I mean, the audience also gave Iron Man 3 a 78. So I guess we shouldn't be too shocked.
The audience loves Marvel movies. I think that people just must love Marvel movies. I thought
well,
it was
that's true.
65, which I was pretty spot on. The tomato meter. It was the audience reaction that really shocks me on this one.
Interesting.
Hayden here says it's the most boring, and even Darcy considers it. Darcy's awesome, by the way. She's one of the best parts in WandaVision. You did like Captain Marvel. I don't know. Like, this is really interesting. M. Scotter, he's got a big opinion.
He does. And it just seems fitting that he actually gets the Big Bold Opinion logo, considering he made the Big Bold Opinion.
that is very fitting. Very, very fitting.
So, yeah, he says that our boring talk can get out of here.
That's fair. That's a fair opinion.
Interesting.
It's a very fair opinion.
Interesting. So what do you actually rate it, though, Tyler, on your enjoyment scale?
I'm torn between a 6.5 and a 7. Honestly.
Okay. Which for you is like a 1 and a 2.
Basically. I mean, here's the deal. To put it into perspective, I think that's what I gave Justice League.
Okay.
The non-Snyder cut. So I'm going to say 7. This movie also has one other major problem for me, and that is that I loved Thor Ragnarok so much that had we never had Thor Ragnarok, I probably would have given this score higher. But seeing what could be done with Thor and how incredible it was, that's one of my favorite MCU films of all time.
Yeah.
It makes me want to give this a little bit lower of a score. I'm just going to rock it with a 7 because Natalie Portman was there, and I'm a big fan.
You gave Justice League a 5, which is probably...
I'm going to give this a 6.5.
Okay, so you're going to drop it down from a 7 to a 6.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
Interesting. I'm going to give it a 4. It wasn't like my least favorite thing that I've seen, but it definitely was less than mediocre. What I liked about it had a lot more Norse mythology in its background. Like that.
That was neat. What did you like the villain? Chris Ecclesian?
Is that how you pronounce it? Because I just always thought it was Eccleston, but I'm just an idiot. So.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing it the wrong way. I have a very strong feeling about that.
It makes sense to me. Yeah, he was fine. But the thing is, like, there's so little about this movie that's memorable.
Yeah.
It did. I mean, like, what Scott is talking about here is that, like, it had some. He felt like it had some good action scenes to it, I believe. I think some people have talked about that. Oh no, here's the collector's the one who said it had tons of destruction at the end. So like it tried to redeem itself at the end, but it just by then like I don't know, not a whole lot of it was making sense, and it was hard for me to even care about what was going on by the time it got to the action sequences. There just was so much that was forgettable about it that I just didn't. I don't know. Yes, this is a great. Okay, Marcelo is down. They even had to explain it again in Endgame. All right. So Tyler, you mentioned that there's you know what? I'm giving myself the floor. You mentioned earlier that if a movie is boring enough or someone falls asleep, that's like the biggest sin that a movie can commit. I think like the one that's right behind it.
I mean, short of giving someone seizures and murdering everybody, I would say that's actually the biggest sin that a film could get is if it kills the whole theater because of or subliminal messaging that makes people go kill other people. There's like a few things.
All right. Okay.
I'm sorry, I made myself laugh. Let's reset. Let's take that from the top.
Let's just start. Let's start the whole episode over. Welcome to Super Squad D. You know what? Let's do the. We got it all the way from the. Oh yeah! Welcome to another Super Squad D. Was that an extra explosion? That's nope. Okay, all right. This isn't good. We can't even do the intro. No. Okay, there's another one. We can't. This is bad. This is bad. We need to stop this. Whatever was going on here is wrong. It's just a bunch of explosions over and over again. We can't even show you anything that's happening here. This is absolutely the worst intro that I have ever seen in my life. I'm so sorry.
Welcome to Super Squad D. That's Flo from Geico.
And I don't know. That's one of the cavemen, probably.
And we're talking about Thor: The Dark World, and it committed a really bad sin, not the worst, which we don't really need to get into. I've been told by the producers. I've been told by everybody. We can't really get into it tonight, but it committed a really bad sin, and that it was boring.
I don't even care about what else I was gonna say. Tyler just removed himself entirely. He actually just removed him. Why would you remove yourself? All right, so the next one up though is Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
What was your review though? You didn't give us your score.
I did. I said I gave it a 4, and I just don't ever want to explain. Let's just get past it. So, Winter Soldier,
I think is not only one of my top 5 favorite MCU films. I actually think I know we're not reviewing quantitatively, but if I was to review a film quantitatively as like objectively the best. Because it hits all of the actual cinema marks, this would be it. This would be a 10 out of 10. The plot flowed perfectly. The action was great. Some of the best fight scenes in the entire 23 movie history of the MCU. Extremely emotionally compelling. A great twist for people who didn't know. There was nothing overly weird or campy. Just honestly, and Robert Redford was in it. I give it a 10 out of 10. This is going to be the first film, I think, out of all the ones we've reviewed, that I actually give a perfect 10 out of 10. It even ends on such a good note.
All right, what do you want to guess that the Rotten Tomatoes score is? If you want to,
Rotten Tomatoes was 90 and 95. I'm going to say 90 for the. I think it was just like crazy high received. I think Rotten Tomatoes score is 90. The audience score is 95.
Let's find out. 90 and 92, yeah. Just about dead on with this one.
I was feeling that one. I was in the zone there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what do you even say about this movie? Because, all right, so you know me, and regrettably, you know me.
It's true. I don't bring it up to very many people, but it's true.
And you know that I am, I suffer from major Marvel MCU fatigue.
Yeah, that's true. We've treated it many years in many different ways. Electroshock therapy,
Yeah, mostly that.
stimulation,
Like
sugar.
will not stop with the electroshock no matter how much I beg you. It has
No,
been
because
years.
you
It
don't
is
say our
not working.
safety word, which is edible candy.
That was it?
That was the safety word, mate.
Wait, okay, well, why didn't you just...
I don't know what else to tell you, mate. That was it.
Unbelievable. Well, anyway, so I suffer from Marvel fatigue, and it started to really set in Phase 2 with Iron Man and all of that. But this movie is great. I really enjoy this movie. So my general rating scale is I start with 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and it's like, lowest to highest. And a 5 is like, oh, I love this movie, so I give it a 5. And then I have to decide, okay, so is it a 9 where it's like, if it's on, I'll watch the end of it? Or is it a 10 where it's like, I will go out sometimes and like, oh, you know what? I really want to specifically watch this movie right now,
Right.
And this movie it's probably a 9 in that it's like, oh, it's on, I should, finish it, watch it, all of that. But because it is also objectively a good film, and I think just the best, easily the best MCU film.
Yeah.
One of the best superhero movies ever made.
Agreed.
I have to give it a 10.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, it's going to be the only 10 that I give out.
Yeah.
In this whole experiment, it's going to be the only one.
The only one?
Yeah.
Will we get to Sony? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh man, I do. Oh man, I can't. I do love
It's so
Sandman. Love Sandman.
was
Love what they did with Topher Grace. Oh man.
Yeah, this is good. Let us know in the comments. We got M. Scotter giving it a 7 from his memory of it. It's been a while since he's seen it, I think. And then Duck Collector saying he watched it originally. He gave it he sits it at a 9.
Yep.
Then it gets better with every watch, which I agree. Actually,
he just said 9.5 instead. Bump it up.
There you go. Bump it up. Yeah.
Agreed.
Change it to 9.5. We're going to note that. The stenographer is going to note that, Duck Collector, to make sure that does she have it? She's got, okay, good. To make sure that it's there. Hayden says 8.5.
8.5?
He says 8.5.
That's fine. No, that's totally good. Yeah, I totally understand. Yeah, no big deal. That's good. That's fine.
Yeah, Hayden's a man of taste. He's made some good GIFs, so I trust his opinions. So, out of all of the scenes that have been rewatched, another reason that I personally love this film is out of all the scenes that I'll like go to YouTube on a day and look up and rewatch, this movie has 2 of the most iconic rewatchable scenes in all of the MCU. They don't quite rise to the level of Endgame because Endgame was a freaking decade payoff, but the elevator scene, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because before it started up, my wife and I were rewatching it. Before it started up, I nudged her and was like, hey, it's about to happen.
Yeah, that's great. That's the elevator scene and then the bridge scene where he's fighting Winter Soldier and the knife is going back and forth and he's got the shield. I've rewatched those scenes, both of those scenes, at least 20 times.
Yeah.
At least. They're so iconic. They're so good. Duck Collector loved the car chase scene. Really, really rewatchable scenes. Whereas there's a lot of movies that I don't think there are any scenes that I really would particularly care to just go look up and rewatch. And this one has at least 2.
At least two. Oh, there's a comment that was earlier that I wanted to highlight real quick that I think is really important. What's that cable for, Tyler?
What a man does in his own room above his own garage is his own business. And there's no reason that he should have to say it on TV. What happens on the internet lives forever.
I like this comment just because out of context, it's just superhero movie. We're like, it's just like that's what we're talking about. And he's talking about, Catwoman trying to correct something. Anyway, sorry. It wasn't worth going back for. Yeah, perfect 10. I mean, I'm going to have to, because not only do I really enjoy it, but it also is just like objectively, I think most people will agree. It's just kind of like the best top to bottom. It tells a complete story without really needing to super rely on so many other elements. You know, like it's not like one of my major issues with the original Thor and Captain America: First Avenger is that those movies exist solely to introduce those characters to the MCU. You know,
well, one of them also exists to put Vivo Morgenstern, which is definitely his name. No, who played Agent Smith?
Hugo Weaving.
Right. What did I say? Hugo Weaving? I'm pretty sure I said Hugo Weaving.
Can I just mute you? Yeah, I'm just going to mute you, actually. You're just muted now. You're done. You're going to have to stay on screen so we can all point fingers at you. But you get muted now. You can't talk anymore. Can't talk anymore. Yeah, Hugo Weaving, who loved being in that movie. But you know, like they were there just to introduce the characters. They weren't necessarily like dynamic standalone films. You're unmuted now. Would you stop? See, this is one of the biggest issues with doing videos with Tyler is this man is obsessed with lights and hanging them up all over the place and constantly washing out things. Anyway.
I actually love vlogging.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
This is what happens whenever we film anything together.
This is it. I love it.
It just devolves into some idiot going, I like vlogging. Yeah.
Yep. Wow. So, all right. So there's 3 more Phase 2 movies, and the question is, do we want to plow through them, or do we want to save them for another stream?
Well, we're kind of coming up on the hour here, so we're going to save them
for
another stream. What we're going to do for the last 7 minutes or so is a Q&A where we're going to answer any questions about anything you might have other than what that cable is for. You can ask literally anything, but not what that cable is for. Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is I will definitely tell you what it's not for.
I want to figure out what this beard is doing. Anyway.
Oh man, is that wire behind you moving? What wire would that be? The wire?
I think it's the wire. It's the cable, man. It's the cable. Is it moving? Is it moving?
It's not for a refrigerator. It's not.
All right, this is a good one that you can probably answer.
I know what your answer would have been. Let's answer for each other. That'll be more fun. You
love it.
You would have said Hawkeye. You absolutely would have said Hawkeye. But there's a show coming out, a Hawkeye show.
I do love. I don't have it back here. I have the Hawkeye Omni. It's the only Omnia that I own.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's a good one.
But I think you know what I would want.
Squirrel Girl.
Yeah, Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl, and you want Ryan North to write it. You want Ryan North to write it, and you want a Squirrel Girl movie.
100%.
Right, why don't you answer for me? You can answer for me.
I think that you want New Mutants to finally come out. Isn't it still delayed? Is it still? Did it ever come out? I don't actually know.
It came out, but I can't stream it anywhere. It's pissing me off. I don't want to stream it.
Oh man,
I don't want to buy it.
I think that you, as a big time Spider-Man guy, I think that you would really want like a and in honor of me, I think you would want one of the major Spider-Man storylines to be turned into a movie. And I say in honor of me because I think you would maybe want something like Kraven's Last Hunt to be turned into a movie. I think you would. I think that's what you would want is a big time Spidey, classic Spidey storyline.
Kraven's Last Hunt would be amazing. That would be a dream. It's one of my favorite Spider-Man stories. Maybe it probably is my favorite Spider-Man story of all time. Rich L wants to know, how do I keep all the extra hands and heads that come with figures these days organized?
I can tell you right now, there's no organization. It's a box. He keeps it in a box, and it's in his closet.
That is not true. I mean, it actually technically is true. And here's the thing, but he didn't know that. So there's no way I'm giving you credit for that because you just guessed that. I keep them in little baggies like this, and these baggies all go in a box in my closet. But I write down when I fill this baggie up, I write down whose accessories are in here. There's probably a better way, and I try to keep the baggies like somewhat grouped together. Like this is Avengers, so this was like a Black Widow. You can see like her little wrist gauntlet that has like steam coming off of it. So this is this Black Widow. Very cool figure, by the way. But
how's the face sculpt on it? We couldn't tell.
It's really good.
Okay. Oh, that is solid. That is a good face sculpt. Thank you.
Man, they got some beautiful faces. They figured out how to do it. So then I've got like another pile of accessories over here, but they're all mutant related. So I know at the very least, if I can pick out one accessory in the bag, I can be like, okay. Like the other day, I was looking for Wolverine hands, which took me like 45 minutes because I have a lot of bags of figures. But like this is all mutant related accessories.
Nice. And by the way, I just feel like I need to make it very clear that like when I make a joke about someone being disorganized, it comes from a very healthy place of also being disorganized because like look at the ground by my desk.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's just a box of random things there. There's like headphones in there that I forgot I owned. So like organization, not my thing either. That I just want I want everyone to understand when I rag on Tyler.
We're very similar in that regard.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, we need an executive assistant. Academy X, M. Scotter wants. Doesn't it make sense that Hawk Man is greater than Hawk Guy? I mean, when you put it that way, it does. Yeah, it does when you spell it out like that.
Yeah.
I think the beauty of Hawk Guy is that everyone's greater than Hawk Guy, and yet he's got so much heart. They'll probably dump New Mutants on Disney Plus at some point.
True.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus in other countries, just not over here.
Weird.
In America. It's kind of ticking me off. Who plays Craven?
This is a good one. What do you think?
I think you would play Craven. I think you
it just makes
Craven.
sense.
And
my cousin Wes will direct it.
It'll be perfect. It'll be absolutely perfect.
I love it. Hey, Tyler, can you remind me? You sent me like a little quiz sometime last week that was about video game, like preferences and genre, all that. What
psychological profile? Your psychological profile and how it affects what games you enjoy.
Yeah,
I don't remember where it was. Yeah.
Look at it! Look at it there! What is it? Why is it there? What is it?
This is how rumors get started, man. This is how rumors get started. Oh, jeez. Wolverine versus Hulk is a fight he wants to see. Yeah, he recognized that you have some random cables. Absolutely. You have a lot of random cables.
Dude, yeah, no, it's so bad. I actually spent a good deal of the afternoon just making changes to my desk because of all the random cables that were piling up around here.
Again, did we see the image of all the DC? I think you're talking about the DC movies and stuff and shows that are coming out. And yeah, I did. There was some that I was really excited about. The Batgirl and the Static Shock I was super pumped about. Do you remember Static Shock? You remember that show when we were kids?
No, I don't remember that one at all.
Oh, dude, we'll show you after the stream. It was awesome. It was a show called Static Shock. It was on the Kids WB, and it was set like in the same universe as Batman, the animated series. They had a crossover with Batman, and it was really rad. Duck Collector. No, it's not a phone cable, but that's a good thought.
I want to see if I can find that because I think it would be fun to plug that little quiz thing.
Yeah, you keep looking. I'll keep. If there's no questions, I'll just ask myself questions and then answer them out loud.
Okay.
And I'll do it in voices that make sense. So, Tyler, if you could be an animal, what animal would you be? Well, that's easy, dummy. I'd be a dragon, because dragons are the best kinds of animals. But what if the dragon burned you? Dragon wouldn't burn me, because it'd be my animal, you dip stuff. I'd train it.
That's a natural thing for people to say.
I would train the dragon. They make a movie about it. And it would be How to Teach Your Dragon, is what it'd be called. How to Teach Your Dragon? Why wouldn't it be called How to Train Your Dragon? Because that's already a movie, dip stuff.
God, I hate this. So anyway, Quantic Foundry was what it was called.
Yes, it does. Quantic Foundry. Yeah, that was good.
So I'm going to see if I
really
can...
fun and interesting. Like, we discovered that maybe we'll do a stream on it one time. We could send out the link, and maybe we'll do a stream or we'll make a video about how your
here it is.
personality type affects what games you like.
So this is, I just put it out in the chat. It's their gamer profile. All right. So Quantic Foundry gamer profile. It's a little survey that you take, and it has a bunch of things that you like in games, that you're interested in games, that you dislike, all of that. You just kind of answer it like any sort of personality quiz.
Fascinating.
There's more science in this than there is the Enneagram. I can tell you that right now.
Absolutely agree.
No question.
So
So
what Enneagram number are you?
I'm a 12.
I'm an 11. What the heck, dude? We're so close. That's awesome.
So anyway, I recommend that anyone here in the chat that is a gamer and wants to discuss this on a stream sometime with me.
Yeah, take
because
the quiz.
two things I love: video games and psychology. I got a degree of it somewhere. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
That doesn't sound like you. A degree. Hey, what's
Hey.
up? How you doing?
All right.
Cosmic Ghost Rider ever appears in the MCU. I would settle for regular Ghost Rider, but Cosmic Ghost Rider would be awesome.
I mean, how long would the MCU have to go for
I'm
Cosmic
thinking
Ghost Rider?
2035, dude. In 2035, we might get Cosmic Ghost Rider.
That might be a little too far.
Is Namor the highest profile character to not appear in the MCU or Netflix shows? He might be the oldest. He's one of the oldest characters for sure to not appear. Yeah, you might be right, dude. I don't know. What would you want Namor to appear in? Would you want Namor to appear in an Avengers movie? A standalone film with himself? Okay. Let me rephrase that. A movie in which he stars, not one that he feels himself. And this... Don't you laugh. Nah. Don't you do it. Or would you want him to appear in a Netflix? I mean... X-Men. All right, next question.
Can we just end the stream? Can we just
What
be
if
done?
Cosmic Ghost Rider was Ralph Boner? Okay. Imagine all the people.
So, Tyler, just so you know, through the first 3 movies of Marvel MCU Phase 2,
Okay.
you currently have an average rating. You gave Iron Man 3 a 7.5, Thor Dark World 6.5, Captain America Winter Soldier a 10. Gives you an average rating of exactly an 8.
That 10 really jumped them up. That saved their behinds this episode.
Yeah, they would have really run the verge of still passing a class in high school.
Yeah, dip stuff.
Dip stuff. Sky, you want to make a dip stuff logo for it? Please don't. Don't ever. I currently have a 5.6 average score because I did not like Iron Man 3 or Dark World at all. So
I look forward to your comments. Look forward to your comments.
So yeah, there you go. So we will do the next 3
Next week.
movies to wipe out the rest of Phase 2. Hopefully next week. If you are not following us on Instagram,
Yes. Instagram.
Super Squad D Live, I believe, is the name of the Instagram account. Follow us on there because we always make it a point on a Tuesday if we're doing the live show or not to make a story about it, something like that, make a post about it on Instagram specifically because it's the easiest way to get that info out there. Because there are some times in which it's a busy time of year.
Yeah.
And stuff comes up and maybe a Tuesday night doesn't quite work out. So
Yeah, you can also follow us on our TikTok freestyle rap account, which is at SSD Live Raps for free. That's the shirt actually that is sold on our TikTok freestyle raps account as well.
So I would, highly suggest following us.
Gosh, your eyes. Wow.
There it is. There it is. Thanks for joining us on this episode, everybody.
We'll see you next time. And oh, hey, look, make sure not to forget that we got the top 5 Spider-Man costume video coming up.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It's going to be super great. Everybody's going to love it. We're going to talk about Craven's Last Hunt. We're going to talk about what to eat at Little Dickie's Barbecue. And we're going to do some freestyle rap. So it's going to be fantastic. And
Thanks.
Oh, I did want to tell you guys really quick.
Woohoo. Yippee!